Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me. And for some of you for coming back for part two of today's discussion. We're going to be talking about 5 different ways in which AI has screwed stuff up. It doesn't really sound that bad.
Only
But we're
5?
going to talk a lot about how, like, obviously you guys know Paul is here. So I want you guys to do me a favor. I want you guys to reach out to Mr. Eric Byer. He is down and out. He had a little bit of a back issue, so please make sure you're reaching out to him and saying hi, letting him know that
Hi,
you're thinking
Eric.
about him. Say again.
I said, hi, Eric. We miss you. He's probably listening.
So, Siren, can I have you do me a favor? Can I have you take the links, if you are able, and put the link in portrait mode for the landscape and do the other? Unfortunately, I am not able to get that to come up right now. I'm not sure exactly why I can't pull my own stream up, but having a difficult time doing so. I would greatly appreciate it. All right. How are you, Paula?
I'm good. I have the whole house to myself all weekend. I'm
You were
so
saying
excited.
that sounds like a lot of fun.
I know. I'm so excited. It's pretty bad when you're like, yay, I have my own house. Where did my tray go? There it is. There's my tray. Oh, I know what's going on. I gotta tighten this sucker down. Wait, no. I don't know how this stuff works. Pardon me, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me. There we go.
What is it?
Oh, I'm just trying to figure out how to get my stuff to work here. My camera. Good morning, everybody. Is nobody talking? Is everybody's on vacation?
Everybody's still asleep. They're like, Frosty, you just were on a little while ago. Why the hell are you running now?
Yeah.
You want to check and
kept
make
them
sure
all
it's
up.
live? It shows it was live. I
Yeah,
just don't
you
see
kept
anybody.
them all awake. Too late. They're sleeping and it's your fault.
Well, a lot of them were up already for when I was doing the earlier one. So we'll give it a couple minutes. So what are your plans for today? What do you got going on?
I am doing laundry. Yay me, because I usually have to fight for access to my washer and dryer, and I don't have to today. And I'm wrapping presents with my daughter. My daughter Bethany is going to come over. We're having a Christmas present wrapping party.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. It's always nice to have your own time, you know.
Oh, I miss it. I miss it. I haven't had my own time in a long time.
No, Rockzilla, I could not sleep. I take a medication that every once in a while, it's for allergies and skin issues, and every once in a while, it'll just put me in this like total insomnia state. And I'm like, well, I might as well do work. And then it was like, well, I need to get that video done. Well, hell, I'm awake. I might as well do a live.
Right.
And it was just like, get it done, get it done, get it done. So, all right. Well, hey, thanks everybody for coming in. So we've got 12, 15 people, something like that. People will continue to filter in. I want to walk through more of a continuation of the discussion that we had, not only this morning. It was a good live stream. Tons and tons of people came in. But what I want to talk about is something that happens. Well, it looks like you not have the free time you thought you were going to have. Oh. Oh, you're talking about her hanging out with me? Yeah. And it looks like I'm freezing up a little bit. I'm going to have to cancel one of these things. Yeah, I'm going to have to watch that. All right. So early. Oh, no more. Yeah, they passed a resolution, so I don't have to worry about the
Oh
continuing
yeah, the
resolution. Yeah. I,
stopgap. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I haven't been able to look at what the new proposition was. I want to go back through and read some of it and see if they
Yeah,
pulled out
me
some of that
too.
language.
I'm real curious to see what pork they agreed to.
Because I was, and again, this was one of those things where I was absolutely against. Uh, this is driving me nuts. I hate it when I freeze like that. Um,
We still had like 30 something Republicans vote against it, so which makes me think that there was still a lot of pork in there.
well, the thing about the resolution was I read about 250 pages, and you're talking about a 1600 bill. I mean, it's huge. But I wanted to see some specific information. So I started about page 540 and read till about 800. And there was stuff in there that I was like, oh, hell no.
Yeah, inspectors
No.
for the inspectors of molasses.
Yeah. It's like, no, that's
And
not
that's
what
not,
this
I'm
is
not
for.
joking. They really
Um,
had like several $1 million
hey,
to
Chad,
go
good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
towards hiring inspectors to inspect the inspectors of molasses.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So Chad says that coins seem to be more expensive. If you're talking about silver coins have seen a little bit of an increase. Gold coins have seen a lot of an increase because of the continuing rise of gold. But overall, I haven't seen huge changes in numismatic prices.
Oh, well, let's talk about that for a second. The US Mint did just announce yesterday or the day before that in 2025 the price of clad coinage will be going up, I think 25%, they said.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that. They have increased all of their prices, but the
Well,
pricing for the clad coinage will be the highest increase that you will see.
yeah, I won't be buying anything from the mint anytime soon. So I'm going to just go with this. This will prevent me from locking up. You guys are able to hear me. I'm just going to turn this off for a little while. Um, I'm going to be showing some stuff here in a little bit anyway. I want to go ahead and just kind of like knock right in. Remember when Eagles were $60 in 2011? No, I wasn't collecting in 2011. But I remember seeing the charts and seeing the prices and knowing that the silver was all part of the, what's it called? Where they did the big silver buy, the two brothers.
Oh,
Oh,
I
I
don't
just
know.
went completely blank. So, but yeah, anyway, so if you're looking from the U.S. Mint, yeah, I guess so. I didn't really pay attention to that. I'm looking just at
Yeah,
normal prices. I haven't really seen that much of an increase. I have seen some
I'm gonna
changes,
pull
but
it
nothing
up.
major.
I'll read it in just a minute. Let me pull it up and read the
The
announcement
Hunt
if you
brothers,
want me
thank
to.
you, Red. Hunt brothers, yep, Michael or Chad Michael, thank you so much. That's exactly what I was thinking about. The Hunt brothers, they were the reason that you saw that
Oh, yeah,
massive.
15%. So, okay, here's what it says. Dear valued customer, United States Mint works on a cost recovery basis, and our goal is to provide the best quality numismatic products while keeping prices as low as practicable. Unfortunately, due to rising material and labor costs, the United States Mint is raising prices on numismatic clad products. Effective the morning of January 2nd, 2025 at 12 a.m. Eastern Time, product prices for rolls, bags, boxes, and ornaments will increase by 5%, and all other clad products will increase by 15%. Prices for all clad subscription products released after January 2nd will be impacted by this change. We encourage you to take this opportunity to order now prior to the price increase taking effect, which makes no sense because you can't order 2025 products now. So that's kind of weird. But if you want any 2024 or prior um, clad products, then order them now. But be prepared for all of the products next year, all of the clad products, the women's quarters, everything, um, and all of the 2026 coins to be quite a bit more expensive, which is kind of ridiculous. And it makes me want to end my subscription to the women's quarters. But I'm a completionist, so I must finish, which kind of sucks.
I tell my wife the same thing.
But how does that work out?
Oh,
I'm a completionist. Yeah. So 15% is no joke.
no, that's a pretty hefty increase.
Yeah. Rolls, bags, boxes, and ornaments. Boxes. I wonder what boxes they're talking about.
So
Boxes they're talking about, but rolls and bags. That pretty much tells me like all the women's quarters are like just everything clad is going to be more expensive. Which is kind of funny when you think about it because the most expensive products, the most expensive products that the U.S. Mint mints for them, the most loss that I see them sustaining is in the cents and the nickels, not
okay.
even clad coins. So they're not even clad coins, but they're increasing the prices on the clad coins. Why don't they just change the composition of the nickel and the cent? I don't know, but kind of weird.
Well, I mean, they're made of zinc, so they're basically already paper.
Yeah, right.
So,
So maybe they're doing that to offset their cost of minting the cents and the nickels.
well, it costs, what is it, like 8 cents to make a penny and like 13 cents to make a nickel or something like that?
Something like that. Hmm.
Crazy. And I mean, I understand it. You don't want to eliminate the cent because of the general loss of money. A lot of people don't realize that the fractions of the cents actually equates to billions of dollars when you're talking about high end investments and stock and stuff like that. But I just I don't understand that whole.
Well, and I don't
What about a
I think
clad set is $50?
I think the only reason that it costs them so much for the cent is because they outsource the planchets. So it costs them more to buy the planchets because we know that those copper plated zinc planchets are not
Yeah, I can see
costly.
that.
Not, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, which kind of makes sense when you think about why the mintages on the nickels are so low this year. It's probably going to be repeated next year. And then 2026 will be an explosion in coins, just like the bicentennials. There will be billions of coins minted 2026. Then in 2027, they'll probably go back to a lower mintage because nickels last forever in circulation. We know that if any of you search nickels at all, you
Oh yeah,
know that nickels last forever.
still fine in 30s and 40s.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
great condition too,
Yep.
so
Yeah, Chad,
uh,
that's so again, one thing, and I don't want to get too much into it here. This is something that Tiger and Stacker or I are going to be talking about here in a couple days, which are the tariffs. We're going to be breaking the tariffs down and talking about the impact that has, not only within different aspects of market, but we're going to be looking about what kind of things are going to be affected by those tariffs and how they're going to affect end goods for us as the consumer. So we'll be talking
well,
about some of that stuff.
doesn't that all depend on whether or not he actually has to use them? Because my understanding is that he's a pretty smart fella.
Well,
My
but here's
understanding
yeah, if
is
you
that
look,
he uses them as a bargaining tool more than anything.
there are two that without a doubt, 100% unequivocally, he will add. one of them, and I'll have to pull the numbers up because I don't have the numbers memorized. I'm not a financial expert. I'm not a strategist, but I do have um, I did have coffee from a Holiday Inn. So
Woohoo! Like,
no, but again, there are two that he utilizes, and he's done it before. The Biden administration kept them. He'll maintain them, and it's something like 238 and 338. One of them is a blanket statement. It's basically to put against people who utilize finance to jeopardize the nation against certain goods. So they'll put those into place. I don't think that's going to stop. I think they're going to continue. The Biden administration didn't even stop it, so I think they're going to work on doing that. Hey, Scratch and Go Crazy member for 1 month. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
nice.
And so there's going to be some of that's going to carry over. But then the other one, and I don't know if it's 238 or if it's 283 or something like that. This is the one that is it's kind of like the catch 22. And this is kind of his power play. I know he'll turn that on. What I don't know is how many other tariffs is he going to implement? We're looking at potential tariffs in Russia. Again, they're looking at an increase there. But that relationship is more of a you do for me, I'll do for you kind of thing. And it's basically going to be utilized to prevent them from taking any additional action in Ukraine and in Syria.
Yeah.
So we'll talk, like I said, I don't want to get into that anymore here.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that when Tiger and I go live, which will be here in a couple of days. We have a monster freaking New Year stream planned.
Nice.
Based off of feedback that we've got for people, it'll probably be about 12 hours. Monster. Lots of stuff given away. I'm going to be giving away about $250 worth of stuff. So you're going to want to be there. I can promise you that. So I've got to fix the Night Pirate thing. I had to update and I lost all of my my custom codes. So I'll have to fix that, Red Silver. I got to get with Great Scott and work on doing some of that stuff. All right. Well, we've already kind of chatted about a bunch of other stuff. New Year's Day. Nope. New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve. New Year's Day is the extravaganza. We're not going to cross over the extravaganza. This is going to be from like noon to midnight on New Year's Eve. So, no, we're covered there. We got you covered. No worries there. So what I wanted to talk about earlier, and there probably are a few of you who were here earlier. We talked about AI. Now, I want to be very clear. There are some good and bad about utilizing artificial intelligence. There are some areas, there are some markets where AI is extremely beneficial. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. But over the last 24 months, we have seen a number of massive disasters. Now, if you go back 4 or 5 years, we've seen even bigger disasters regarding AI. Now, Paula and I have talked about this a lot. Paula, way more than I have. And that is the problem when talking AI in relation to things like stacking and coin collecting. There's so much misinformation out there that the information that I got on the 16th of December, which was that YouTube is going to be pulling its 800 million resource video, reaching out to all the content providers and asking them if they would be willing to submit their content for use in machine or mechanical learning. This is an adaptive AI learning process where they scrub all the videos that the people who opt in, and they dig into the component. They look into the videos, they look at your content, they look at your imagery, they break it down, and then they go in and they suck all your data out of you, and then they feed it to this AI entity. I'm not sure who they're supporting or which one they're with. Obviously, it's probably tied to Google, being that Google is the parent company of YouTube. And so there's going to be some things that we have to look at in relation to that. Now, that's what we talked about earlier. We talked about the potentials. We looked at some of the numbers. We broke it down. We went through some other stuff. If you want a very long, fun conversation that went all sorts of which ways, go check that out. What we're going to talk about right now is this. And this is from CIO.com. Now, this is an article that I'm just utilizing. I don't have full-on rights to use this however I want. I'm just sharing this information with you, so all rights reserved go to them. But what we're seeing here are things, and I want to make sure that I share this with you accordingly, okay? So these are some of the biggest blunders by utilization of AI. Now, we all have heard that data is more important and has become more valuable than oil. Well, that was created in 2017. It was written by The Economist. You can see this here. And basically what the premise of that comment was is that data is the new oil. So your data, what you do, what you eat, where you go, who you call, this is why things like TikTok and all this stuff, when that you look at the terms and conditions, if you actually read the terms and conditions, it'd freak the crap out of you. But they have access to all your data because the more they know about you, the better the decisions they can make. But they can also be interpretive, and they can take that information and they can try to understand what you might watch, what you might do, how you might do it, and target advertisement towards you. Obviously, there are groups who would utilize this for nefarious purposes. And so one issue that I have with this is that even though it's good to have adaptive programming, even though it's good for things to be looked at, what you really got to be careful with is who carries your data and what you give away. We're talking about this in terms of coins. So we're talking about coin collecting and stacking and things of that nature, right? But I want to go over a couple of these because there's a couple of these that many of you know. How many of you remember the total freaking fiasco that was the AI bot line at McDonald's? Did you ever get to do that, Paula?
The what? Sorry.
The AI bot line at McDonald's, where you went in, you talked to the machine, and it tried to build your burger for you?
No, never did that.
It was a total freaking disaster. Okay, so looking at this is what it states. After working with IBM for 3 years, McDonald's said, screw it, we're done. Because not only were people getting really ticked off and not going to them, they just couldn't get social media to kind of align with what they wanted because they kept getting complaints and customers were just frustrated and pissed off. It was always wrong. The AI bot wouldn't understand them. All it would do was just every time they tried to add something, it would just add chicken nuggets. It's like, I want a Big Mac. Okay, you have ordered one chicken nugget. No, I want a Big Mac. You have added another chicken nugget. No, I want an apple fritter. You have ordered your third chicken nugget, right? It's like, ah, right? It's like Siri. It's like, oh my God, no, Siri, shut up. She's about to ding ding and go check it out. So again, McDonald's went through this, and yes, here we are. What the heck? You got to be kidding me. No, we're done, right? Okay. Now, it's not a big deal. It was AI. It was bot-based. The people didn't program it very well. Well, what about the fact when you look at AI reaching out and accusing an NBA star of vandalism? Now, this is a direct defamation of character created by Xbot, Grok, which is an AI chatbot that was created by Elon Musk. And because of comments that were saying during this game he was throwing up bricks, this started to push out information saying that he was throwing bricks through people's windows in the houses of Sacramento. How is that as far as defaming somebody? Now, again, these are all AI chatbots, and they had to go through and they had to identify it. And they're like, oh, well, it's still early. It's still early in development, right? We got some bad information. It took the information. We'll get this through. We'll figure this out. We'll figure this out. Okay, it's adaptive learning. We understand that, right? Well, here's the problem. Encouraging business owners to break the law. Oh, well, now we're in a whole different ballgame. Now, not only are we in a situation to where we're looking at trying to get information, but now we're recommending that they ignore sexual harassment. That, oh, if you have rats and they nibble on your food, it's okay, you can still sell it. And these are some of the information pieces that this chatbot created by Microsoft, My City, was giving entrepreneurs. So when you look at some of this information, and again, right, Air Canada said that they would allow for leave to happen. It didn't happen. They fought. A judge had to finally overrule them and say, yeah, it's there. Sports Illustrated had a whole bunch of people where they were generating faces of players that actually weren't theirs, creating stories that weren't actually there. And they had to actually retract and go back through and say, hey, we got a problem with this. Looking at iTutor Group recruiting rejects due to age. So again, having major complaints, right? So there are problems with AI. Now, there are certain places where this is good, but Paul and I are going to talk a little bit about why this kind of adaptive learning and why the creation of AI videos specifically targeted at you guys and gals, the folks who are trying to learn, engage, trying to watch good, solid content, why this utilization of AI is such a problem. So what I would like you guys to do is I'd like you to make sure you're joining into the conversation. I'd like you to make sure that you're looking at various aspects of what we say. If you don't agree, make sure you tag me or tag Paula and say, I don't agree because of this, and give us reasons. If you have the opportunity to pull up an article and you're saying, hey, based off of this, those are one-offs, then that's fine. But Paula and I can give you site after site. I'll just hit Coins of Rosie for the first one. I talked about that one earlier today. That they're working a little bit better to make sure that the visual image matches what they say. Now, I'm going to share something with you. This is something that I did this morning. And so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to change this really quickly. Let me change this. Oh, no, wait, hold on. Let me come back over here and pull this up just a sec. All right, so I created this morning. Some of you were here, you guys have seen this. And what I did is I said, and I went onto AI NVIDIA. There are some great information and say I want to find out information. And I reached out into the chat and I said, tell me what kind of information you want to learn about the 1968 San Francisco Proof Quarter. It's actually one that I put into the packet and I'm sending to one of the gentlemen. His name was Leo. He was in here very, very cooperative and very engaged this morning. And so I put this stuff in here, and this is basically what it came into.
Here's why it's special. All right, let's dive in. The 1968 San Francisco.
All right, so we're talking about the 1968 San Francisco quarter. Is that a quarter? No, it looks like an Egyptian mummy coin. Now, I built this morning live. Everybody saw me put it in. In fact, that live stream's going bonkers right now. So a lot of people saw me put this in. And again, you're looking at a coin that's not even that. Well, here's this one.
San
This one
Francisco
gets me.
proof quarter is a real gem for collectors.
1968 SF proof quarter. SF. It's San Francisco. It's an S mark, not SF. Right? So again, there's misinformation
First up,
here.
the weight. It tips the scales at 5.67.
Now, 5.67 grams. Is that correct, Paula? For a proof quarter?
For clad.
Yes.
Yes.
So it got the
7
weight
grams. Not too shabby, huh?
See.
But here's
One
where it gets
second.
interesting.
Don't quote
The
me on
mintage
that.
number,
I'm going to go
only
double
3,041,000.
work. Because I don't have all the weights and crap.
No, it's okay. Yeah, so
What
I actually
year did you say?
68 proof quarter.
68 proof. 1968 proof. 5.67 grams. Yes.
Okay. Now let's look at the mintage.
$3 million. Blah 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 blah. Correct.
Okay, so it's not getting
41,506
everything
of these
wrong.
beauties were made. That's pretty exclusive in the coin world.
But they're saying that 3 million is a pretty exclusive number. It's a pretty rare number. It's like
No.
Now I know what you're itching to hear about, the value.
it's not.
In today's market, a 1968 SF proof quarter can
SF
fetch
proof quarter
anywhere
can
from
fetch-
$5 to $15, depending on its condition.
Okay, so now it didn't go crazy with the numbers. One of the other ones that I did earlier, we talked about the 1926. We were talking about the 1926 because it's my favorite coin to use as an example of a coin that seems relatively kind of untalked about, but in high grades, it is insanely expensive. So I had them do it, and it showed a 1940 cent. And then it showed a gold Britannia. And then it showed some loonies. And so in this video, the video itself was never matching the data that we were actually putting into it. It was never, it never matched the script. And there's so many sites out there that do this. So here's the problem that I have, and this is the conversation that I want to have with Paula. And I want you guys to join into this. If there's 800 million videos, and we know that there are tens of thousands of these coin videos that do not give good, solid information, what kind of adaptive learning are we going to be getting in the coin community or in the stacking community when the information that it's gathering is absolutely just wrong?
Mm-hmm.
How are we to fight this? What are we supposed to do as collectors, as stackers? How are we supposed to safeguard ourselves if we don't pay attention to this? So what I want to do is I want to just kind of have that conversation, just kind of chit chat back and forth and get people's feedback, get people's thoughts about what's going on and what's the situation. And let's talk about some of those items. Great, Scott, I just got your text message. Thank you.
You know, and the thing is, with coin collecting, they don't need 800 million videos. They need a handful of really good videos, and that's it. They need a handful of the correct information given by a handful of people, because that's probably about all you're going to find anyway.
Right.
And they can build from there. I don't understand why they need so many different, you know, either the information's correct or it's not. You know, this hobby is not one where, you know, the mintage figures change from one person. It's not like opinion based for the most part. So it would, to me, it's much like if they're trying to train a doctor on anatomy, they don't need 800 million anatomy videos to learn from. They just need a couple correct ones. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say? Like, it's, if you're building a AI on something that's kind of opinion based, then I understand the need for more like opinions or whatever. But when you're building AI on something educational that is much, that is not opinion based, that is very specific and I don't even know what I'm trying to say. You guys
No,
are not like,
I'm tracking the gist of what you're trying to say.
once again, I'm taking you on the scenic route through Paula's weird brain way of thinking.
It's all good. It's all good. Well,
Yeah,
again,
you know what I'm saying though? Like I know that it really is a struggle for educators like myself and stuff in this hobby to have to fight against all of this bad information that you guys get, because there's so many people out there who do these videos for all the wrong reasons.
yes.
They do that because they want to make money on their channel, and it's clickbait, and a 30-second video telling you that you can make money on this and your pocket change, blah 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 blah, and that's it. That's probably 90% of what's out there, is all this just clickbaity crap and worthless, or people wanting to show you their amazing pocket change find that they found in a parking lot under Billy Joe Bob's 4x4 rear front tire, or rear driver side tire, rear front. Anyway, you get the gist. They're
You want to
parking
try that
lot
one more
coin.
time?
They want to show you their amazing find that's really a parking lot coin, but they want to turn it into something that it's not. So that's like, there's a lot of that out there too. If they would just be smart and use the ANA's videos, I mean, there's really great videos out there that are strictly educational. They don't need all this other garbage, I don't know.
No, I fully understand. but Jackalope said it. Less videos means less advertising income, and it's all about money, right? So, bottom line, the longer that they can keep you on a platform, the better off it is for their pocketbook, right? YouTube is competing with Instagram and stuff like that.
Are we talking about, what are we talking about? Are we still talking about them training AI?
Well, you're talking about why do they have so many videos? We don't need that
Right.
many.
Well, there's already videos out there. That's okay. Now I'm confused. They have that many videos because those are the videos that were already in existence, correct? That they're using to train AI.
No. So what he's saying is that, okay, there's 800 million videos. And the reason that there's 800 million videos out there is because they want people to be on the platform. They want people to put information out there. It doesn't matter what they put out there. They don't really care about it. All they want people out there putting out as much information as they can because it keeps people on the platform longer.
What platform?
YouTube.
But it's already out there.
You're missing the point.
I am. I'm lost on what we were talking about. I thought we were talking about them wanting people to submit their content to help them train AI so that AI gets better at the information it gives.
Yes, I understand. But you were saying that there were a bunch of videos out there that aren't necessarily needed. We were just explaining that the reason that they're out there is because they want more videos, because they want you to stay out there. The problem is that the videos that are out there don't necessarily account for anything. They're not necessarily good information. and they don't really have much weight when it comes to educational value. So here's my thing, and we talked about this before. If I say no, I don't want my videos to be utilized in this AI machine learning process, then they just opt me out, no problem. But if somebody steals my videos like they did with Blue Ridge, they just absolutely 100% copy it verbatim, put a couple different images here and there, and then they post it up there. They don't change the script. They don't do anything. Then my data is there anyway. So the problem that I have is if they're putting that stuff up there and they're utilizing scraping technology, but the people are utilizing information, image against text, the image doesn't match the text, AI doesn't necessarily know that that's not correct. How is that benefiting us? I think there needs to be a much more specific method for machine learning than this arbitrary grabbing. Yeah, there needs to be, like, we need to look at, and you talk about educators. Mm-hmm. There needs to be a very specific strategy to utilize for machine learning than just taking a blanket swath. And who are the people that are looking at this stuff saying, yeah, good data, bad data, good data, bad data? How are they validating this?
I imagine that they don't allow AI to teach medical students, right? Because somebody could potentially die, because you run into the same problem as what we're running into. A lot of the information would be incorrect or jumbled, or, even slightly wrong in when it comes to medicine can be devastating.
I can tell you that there is adaptive AI in some EHRs. An EHR is an electronic health record. And I can tell you that there are certain ones, and I'm not going to name. If you want to know the specifics about it, reach out to me one-on-one, we'll discuss. I'm just not going to do it over stream. I don't want to get into that issue. But there are electronic health records, there are models that utilize AI technology to help providers understand whether there are drug-drug interactions, to look at things like text-based gathering, to look and see if there are issues with text mining, so that if they are entering information into a record, but they're not entering it into let's say a certain data field, is this data being captured? So they absolutely utilize this.
No, I know they use. I do know that they use that for that, because they've been doing that for a long time.
Right. So
but they are very specific about where they source the information that is training the AI to input all of this, right? Like, they're very specific. They don't just go on YouTube and pick, or Google or whatever, and rely on all these, couch potato doctors that are out there. They're very specific about where they get their information from. That's what I'm saying, is instead of these people trying to farm information from just Joe Blow coin collector, why aren't they being more discerning about where they get their information from?
Well, and again, I don't know. So when we look at the AI information, the approval, it just says that there's 3 requirements. So number 1, you have to fall within the community guidelines. It has to be your content. Oh, okay. I'll take care of that, Red Silver. Thanks for letting me know. It has to be your content. You have to have rights and ownership of the information. This is one of the things I argued with one of the people in chat earlier this morning, saying that like the adaptive art and things like that automatically embed the license agreements. They don't. But so they have to have that. You have to have ownership of it, and it has to fall within community guidelines. That's basically the 3 levels of protection that you have to have in order to opt in your video. Now, YouTube reserves the right, Google owns the right, but YouTube reserves the right not to utilize your content, even if you opt in. So if you opt in and they look at this and they're like, no, there's definitely something wrong with this, and I'm sure that they have something. What I really hope they have is I really hope they have some sort of technology that determines that this was created by AI and excludes all of that. Now, I know there's little check marks that you put when you're doing, was this AI content? Did you use AI to do this? Does it give information? Like, they're trying to gain and garner information, but a lot of people don't fill that stuff out. I know that because when I was working with Tiger Stacker, we were going through and it's like, well, hey, are you clicking these boxes? He's like, why? I'm like, well, they're asking you these questions. Like, these are things that help them understand that you're doing your own work. Because if you say that it's AI overlay, indicating that you've done like AI animation, but it's actually you speaking, they won't flag you as an AI development. You're doing your script over an overlay or under an overlay. So they look at that a little bit different. Are they going to be looking at that? Are they going to be looking at pure AI generated content? I would be really curious to find out if that's something that they're going to be doing. And I don't know the answer to this. Like, this is not something that I know. I don't have all the information. I've gone through a number of different ones. And the one that really stood out to me is if you will go to the live stream that I did this morning in the chat, or excuse me, in the description, I listed like 9 of them. The one I want you all to read is the one that was done by MIT. You guys know MIT, Michigan Institute of Technology. They are the top school for this. They really understand. If you want to be anything in electronics, computing, and stuff like that, that's kind of like the school you want to be at. MIT is very competitive. Go look at that and read what they say. And they're like, it's a problem. There's a lot of issues with this kind of adaptive understanding because there's not enough protections put into place. So go look at that. I can gather that here in just a minute. If one of my mods wants to go grab that and come in and put that in, I'll make sure that I can pin that. But when you look at data, you look at information, you look at news reports, you look at whatever, number one, understand the source. Think critically. If you're looking at a weight loss thing and it's done by Jenny Craig and they're talking about how effective this program is, oh, by the way, all the supplements are Jenny Craig. Oh, by the way, all the food is Jenny Craig. Oh, by the way, all the doctors were run and owned by Jenny Craig. How reliable do you think that data is? So when you look at stuff, be a little bit critical in your assertion and in your viewing of understanding what is it that they're actually giving me. When we talk about this, Paula and Livecoin QA, when they break down, it's not like they just say, "Oh, that's what this coin is," right? It's not that easy, right, Paula?
Right.
Yeah, say they have to dig in and they have to look at multiple sites. They have to say, okay, Occam's razor, I'm going to use her favorite quote, the easiest solution is usually the most correct one. Somebody comes at you and say, I have 4 of the exact same extremely rare error that we've only ever found 2 of. It's probably not what you have.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite of Ken's axioms. If you have the first clue to knowing that you don't have something rare is when you have many of them.
Yeah, exactly. And so again, when these guys do this, they don't just go through and say, oh yeah, that's not it. They have a multitude of sites. And again, I can put these sites in here, but I'm going to list a few off. Variety Vista, Wexler, Copper Coins, Kineka, Redbook, Graysheet. You can utilize NGC PCGS, right? You can utilize
Numis Media.
Numis Media. What's the other one? I talked about it this morning.
Ref.com.
Numista. Right? There's so many great. Oh, we did Cuds on Coins. Right? We talked about that this morning with somebody named Leo, who was gracious enough to send me some pictures of some coins and look at these items. So again, there's a lot of great stuff out there where you can do it, but don't take one source. Don't take one simple source of data. So earlier, Paula, you and I were talking about something that aggravates the crap out of both of us. When people do searches, can you enlighten people on what that was?
Oh, well, yeah. A lot of times when people search something about a coin, the first thing that comes up is an AI generated bunch of garbage. And it's very, very frustrating because for years now, a lot of us who are, on the education side of coin collecting have had to fight bad information generated by real people. Now we're not only doing that, but now we have to fight against Google. So what happens is when I tell someone who, a lot of these people who I help are brand new to the hobby. They have no clue who I am, who Ken Potter is, who any of these people are, right? So they'll ask a question and I'll answer it. I'll give them resources, everything else. Well, they follow up with me now with a screenshot of an AI generated description or answer that's completely wrong. Who are they going to believe? Me, who they have no clue who I am and never heard of me or anything and think I'm probably just making stuff up, or Google?
Well, so you got a double-edged sword against you too.
Yeah, it makes things 100 times more difficult now for me to convince people that the information I'm giving them is correct and the information they're receiving from this other source is incorrect. It makes it almost impossible for me.
Let's see. I've shut the other things down. Let's turn this on. Oh, leaning forward.
Hello.
Big old freaking monster mug shows up on the screen. I do not want to do that. Yeah, but again, it's one of those things where what I want people to understand about this, I utilize AI almost every day in my normal day-to-day job. Looking at publications. And as I look at, I've closed almost everything else, so it should be fine. I don't have anything else to share, so we should be good. But looking at information, so I have tons and tons of state and federal documents that I need to sort through. I've got standard practice forms I need to look at. I've got a whole bunch of research papers and development regarding a large swath of topics, both IT, medical, legal, administrative actions, legal cases, court cases, all sorts of stuff. So it's really nice to be able to utilize something that goes out and grabs all that information and says, here are all the items that contain this, and now I have to go back through and just dig into that. That's a little bit different where it's information gathering, where it presents you stuff and then you have to dig into it. What's happening with AI and the coins in this particular set is that you have somebody who doesn't understand what's going on. You have somebody who doesn't understand the coin, who doesn't really care about the content that's provided. They don't really care about you. They care about getting clicks and getting likes and making sure that they do whatever. They put it up, they don't check it, they don't validate it, they don't verify it. And then if they have time and money, they put money against it and they buy all these views. And then people see this. And what Paul was talking about when we talked about this the other day, you have this artificial sense that they have this level of education. They have this level of ability to understand what's happening far better than the people who have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,000 subs.
Right.
So you get this AI-based channel with 50, 60, 70,000 subs, but almost everything they put out is trash. Who do people go to? You're competing with big market media, Google. Like, how in the hell can a small little entity like us compete with the big industry? So people don't think about that. They don't look at the fact that this is, we're here to protect. We're here to do this. We're here to make sure that you guys have the best information you can. The level, I can't even count. Would you guys say you have like 70 years, 80 years experience between the folks on QA?
Oh, much more than that. Yeah. But yeah.
Oh, well, you have like almost 80 years experience yourself.
Myself, right? Yeah. I mean, God.
She's like, I'm gonna
I
kick
started
your
when
ass.
I was 20.
No, but I mean, you got Sean, Shay, Shannon, Amanda, who I think is just absolutely brilliant. We talked about her overlays and why that was so important.
Yeah.
Kind of broke that down, showed people how that went really well. But there have been 3 people on that panel who have actually come alongside of me very, very closely and given me information and stuff, but I wouldn't know what I know if it wouldn't have been for their knowledge. Now, Paula knows this, Shay knows this, Amanda knows this. Pretty much everybody at QA knows that about me. Chuck Daughtry, Eric Beyer, they all know that my desire is to help you guys. I don't need to be your center source. You guys will hear me say that all the time. I don't need to be your sole source of information. I think anybody who says that they need to be your sole source of information is an idiot, because there's so much information. There's so many different ideas. There's so many different things to look at that you can't be an expert in everything. In fact, the people who are experts don't count themselves as experts. If you have to tell person you are, you're not. You're lying through your teeth. Or if you have to have a little piece of paper back here that says you know what you're doing,
Right.
watch out for those. Okay. And again, what it's about is it's about protecting you guys. So
Watch out for the people that never say, I don't know. Watch out for those people. The people that always think they have the correct answer and the information they're giving is the bottom line, and they know everything and they never have to tell you, I'm not sure, I'll get back to you. Or, watch out for those people, because there is far too much information in this hobby for one person to know everything.
There's no way.
Too much.
There is no way.
No way.
No. Now you'll have people, and I'm going to use Ken Peavy.
The key is knowing where to find the information.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah. There are people like Ken Peavy who just had a way of explaining something.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And those kind of people are rare. When they come along, now Paula.
He had Plato. He had Plato.
That's
right.
Hey, Scotty, what's up? Hey, Coach. What's up, Joe? One of the things that, Paula, a lot of people don't realize this. That was her mentor.
Yep. He was my best friend.
You guys need to understand, like, a lot of people, and I say this, and Paula, I've defended this with you guys, both you and, Angel, you, Amanda. There's a lot of females in this hobby who are brilliant and that know a lot of information. But a lot of people, and again, this is Hobby of Kings, you guys need to understand who their mentors were. Like who do they walk with? What circles are they in? Let me tell you a little bit about the lady that's sitting here on panel with me. Okay, let me enlighten, let me educate you all. Okay, so first off, here's what I want you to do. I want you, if you're not a subscriber, if you're liking the content, please do so.
I'll tell you
41.
something about her. She needs to get her
41.
toenails done. That needs to get her toenails painted.
Um,
I'm sorry, I'm sitting here looking at my toes like, what, Paula?
no, that's okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Here's what people need to understand about Paula. Paula's surrounded with people like Joe Cronin. Hold on, I got to step up here real quick. I got to grab something. Have you guys ever heard of a coin called a Henning nickel?
Henning.
You want to hear something cool about this? I love Henning nickels. This is one of my favorite coins. I have looked over this and read through this and go, where the hell did he find all this stuff?
Yep.
Spent a lot of money, talked to a lot of people. Absolutely amazing.
Yep.
Okay, you see this book? You want to know who one of the editors were? Miss Paula Bloom, the lady that's sitting on the other side of me.
I didn't do that much.
Well, no, but again, here's the thing. What a lot of people don't understand. So I'm very fortunate, okay, to have such a good friend in Paula and Eric and Chuck, Amanda, Shay, Seeker, right? Blue Ridge. I've been very fortunate in coming into this hobby and initially being granted access to icons in this. I have some really good mentors. People who will allow me to contact them and say, I pay him to say this. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. I've been very fortunate. I've been very blessed to be introduced to people like Ida Herring, who is the grandmother, the gatekeeper of our community, right? Love that lady to death. And she knows everybody. She's got relationships, and she'll, you know, if you're good with her, she'll take care of you. She'll do what she needs to do. She's mom. But what people don't understand, and what people really need to understand about Paula is, let's talk about some of your mentors.
Okay.
We obviously have Ken Peavy.
Yeah.
How often have you worked with your best friend Chuck or Charles?
Hey, Charles, my best friend. Did you hear that, Chuck? Now you're my best friend.
He's going to be like, Frosty hasn't slept.
Chuck was one of my very, very first mentors. Yeah, he's put up with me for a while now.
Let's talk about some other people. How about Jack Young?
Jack Young, yep. I'm going to be interviewing him on Sunday. I'm excited about that. Ken Potter.
Yeah. So what I want you to do is I want you to be listening to the names that are being dropped here. Okay, I don't say this lightly, right? I want to walk in Paula's circle. And the reason...
You are walking in my circle. You just don't know
Hold on, let me explain. Okay? Now, I have access to every one of those people because I'm friends with her. And because she knows that my intent is the same one they have, is to help and protect. But if it weren't for Paula, if it weren't for Amanda, and if it weren't for Shay, I wouldn't have the opportunity to have the information that I have. I learned more about the 1953 Lincoln cent by talking with Shay than I ever wanted to know. But
well, and I'll drop a name that many of you probably don't know, and so this is an example of why you need to be careful when you're getting information and I see it a lot of times. This person will give people answers and they will argue with this. Anyway, it's Christopher Rhodes. He is so smart, and he's actually part of the live coin Q&A. He hasn't been able to be on panel for a few years now, but
He got
he's
a
going to be
girlfriend.
coming back. But he has a blog site called Adventures in Coin Roll Hunting. But he is also one of the very first people that I met and became one of my mentors. And he is so smart, but he's not well known. People don't know his name. Some people do, but he's content just to kind of sit back and help people from the sidelines. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's a lot of people like him out there. A lot of people. You don't have to write a book. You don't have to write a website. You don't have to do seminars or, be whatever, to know what you're talking about and to want to help and to be an educator in this hobby.
But the way you find those people is through relationship.
That is true. That
Okay?
is true.
And so the whole point of this is that, I don't know, I'm going to take these off for a second because my eyeballs are hurting me. Please don't ask me to read anything because I can't see squat right now. But here's something that I really look at when it comes to my friendship. I consider Paula my mentor because the information that she understood has come from a lot of studying. But knowing some of the people, now I've never met Ken Peavy. He passed before I came onto the scene. But I've seen his videos.
And you guys should watch him too.
Yeah, you should, really. If you guys don't know Ken Peavy, that's something you guys need to write that name down, and that's something you need to keep in your back pocket.
Go subscribe to his channel and go watch all of his coin classes and all of that stuff.
When I would watch his videos and then I would hear Paula, I would see Ken. And it helped me start to understand that if we don't really join together to sit down and really understand the true intricacies of coin collecting, the identification and what it means to understand the minting process, what it means to actually go through. If we rely on this advent of AI to do our work for us, we're going to lose our hobby, because the information, when there are things in our hobby that we have to relearn because the people that were the experts at it didn't have anybody to pass the information on to. And so we've had to go back through and relearn these items. And so what I want to urge you guys through, I don't need to be your sole source. I don't want to be your sole source. But if I can connect you to people like Paula, or if I can connect you to people like Blue Ridge or Silver Seeker, or good grief, it doesn't matter. If you're stacking it, maybe it's Yankee, maybe it's Silver Seeker, maybe it's Sal, it doesn't really matter to me. But there are people that are going to speak your language. There are people that are going to kind of ebb and flow with you. There are people that are going to say things in ways that you understand. And the only way we do that is through community, is through talking, through having conversations. And it's when we sit down and we have these conversations, and I'm going to reiterate one that you and I had, Paula, that I go, oh, son of a gun, I got it. That makes sense. And that was the incuse discussion. Talking about a double die on an accuse. I was given all the right information, but I was saying it backwards because I didn't understand what incuse was.
Yeah.
And accuse simply goes, you just in the coin. It's like the bottom of a wave. And she's like, well, take something and draw a line in the sand and put your hand over it. It looks like it goes under the line, but it doesn't. It's actually above it. So you need to know whether that device is relief or incuse. Understanding. Obtuse. Obtuse.
I'm
But understanding that little piece of information totally changed my understanding of what it was that I was seeing. And it was like, man. But it was a conversation. She's like, well, let me explain to you why you're right and why you're wrong. You said everything correct, but it's because it's in Cuse, it's backwards. I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
I said everything right, but I'm wrong. How does that work? And she walked through and kind of went through and figured out what I needed to hear. Right. So when you look at me, it's like, oh yeah, Frosty. I'll just call Frosty. I'll just go to him. You know where I go? I usually go that way. I usually go to her or Amanda. It's very often if I get world coin questions, man, Amanda.
Yeah.
Right. Straight because there are certain people. If I need to know about a 2-cent piece, I'm calling Shay. If I want to know about a Lincoln cent, I'm calling Eric or I'm calling Chuck. If I want to know how to look at coins and identify errors and really kind of like how do you set yourself up and what do you do, I'm going to talk with other people like myself, people like Dirty Water Coins.
Yeah.
Who do this over and over and over. And by repetition and understanding and looking, he finds some amazing crap. Like amazing. Like every time he's on there, it's like finds this, he finds this, but he's always looking. Right? You got to have conversations with the people that are actively engaged in this. That's why this morning when Leo came up and was like, well, I have this floating roof. And it was like, oh man, I hate to tell you, but it's not worth anything. We know that it's there. We hear this a lot, but let me tell you what it is. And he was like, thanks. And I was like, well, please tell me you didn't buy this. He's nope, looking through pocket change. And I was like, outstanding. Continue doing that. This is exactly what we need. Keep looking. When you find something, you're going to be so elated, but keep looking. Remember, you'll find far more failures than you will, but just keep looking. You will find something. So I talked to Paul about what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something cool for him. And so again, it's building community. How do we engage our community? How do we grow this hobby? It ain't through AI. It's not through AI. We grow this hobby through relationships and through conversations like this, sitting down side by side. And I keep pointing that way. That way.
That way.
Well, my camera, it's backwards here.
I know.
So, that way. But this is how we grow, right? So what I want you guys to do, if LiveCoin QA, send them a photo. If you don't want to send them a photo, you can't remember what it is, send it to me. I don't know how you'd remember livecoinqa.com, but you can remember Frostbite.
That email is no longer. That email does no longer work. If you want to send an email to me, we are not taking email submissions for a while.
There's changes, so send them to me, or go to their Facebook group.
Send them to me. I have an email, my Connecta email, if you want to send them to me. So
or send them to Paula, or send them to me, and they'll end up in Paula's email box. But the point is ask, right? And we were very clear this morning. It's like, look, there's no wrong answers. See, here's something that I learned. I think this is the most valuable lesson that I've learned in my life. Okay. You hear the statement that it doesn't matter how many times you fall down, it's how many times you get back up. And I like that. But here's the thing. I have never learned anything by doing something right. I only learn when I screw something up. And if you give me an opportunity to understand what I did and allow me to fix it, like let me go back through and fix it. Let me go back through and do my own work. Let me understand, figure out what the problem is, how to overcome it, and then do it. Not only is that cemented, I'll probably do something better. And so there are no mistakes. If you come to me and you say, hey, I've got this really cool coin and it's the pooping horse, Hey, you know what? If you think that's really cool, that's really cool. But let me tell you what it is. Just a night shift. Okay. You have the spinning horse or the peeing horse or the unicorn leopard with one eye, whatever the freaking crazy names of these things are. We'll tell you what they are. And if you like them and you collect them and that's what you want to do, then that's fine by us. But we want to make sure that you get the right information. That's our entire intent. That's the entire scope of what we want to do. That's not with just live coin Q&A. It's with Copper Coins. It's with Coin Show Podcast. It's with Jack Young, Joe Ronan, or
Cronin.
I was going to call him Rogan.
Ronan.
I get stuck with calling him Rogan because I like Joe Rogan.
Oh, Rogan.
But there's so many people out who really just want to better the hobby. If I can do anything for you, let me just be a touch point. A person that can say, hey, you know what? This person's really smart at this. You know what? Let me connect you with this person. Hey, you know what? You really like doing this, but you know what you really need to do? This is the channel that you'll probably really enjoy this channel. You can come by, say hi, please come watch the streams, but I think you'll really do well here. I got zero issue recommending other channels. Zero. And a lot of people are like, well, Frosty, you're destroying your own brand. No, I'm not. Because I can't grow the hobby if I try to keep everybody to myself because I'm starving you of the information that you need. So allow me to help share people with you. Paul and them do the same thing. I'm going to, eventually I'll do that and it'll be the right way.
Or you could just switch places with me. No, because then you'd be pointing at the wrong place again.
All right.
Now you're going to, yeah.
Yeah, so, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, I haven't.
Oh, now I am going to be pointing the wrong way.
Yep.
Oh.
No, it's frustrating.
But anyway, so my whole thing about this AI thing, this is my final end. Don't comment. Don't thumbs down. Don't tell them they're wrong. If you want to report it as incorrect content, then you can do so. But don't engage that channel in any way. Because even a thumbs down is engagement. And the more, even if it's negative engagement, the more engagement that they have, now I just froze.
It's okay.
The more engagement that I have, the more they push that out. So be careful with that. Watch that. I got my glasses back on. My eyes.
I do think they're going to stop making star notes easy, simply for the fact that they said they're going to stop making star notes.
Well, so, Blue Ridge talked about this. I wish he was lurking. Yeah. Blue Ridge talked about this and said, yeah, they are doing it. They've made an announcement. It's not just kind of a whatever. They're actually going to do that. So, yes, Invisible River, that's exactly correct. If they know that you dislike them, it'll empower them to do more. Because people understand that I can use your dislike. I can do something that you don't like against you by saying it. And then you come and tell me you're wrong. You're an idiot. And I'm like, oh, thanks. And then I do it again. And you're like, oh my God, don't you learn? You're an idiot. And then you call a friend and say, look at this fool. He continuously calls this square thing a coin. It's not a coin. It's a bar. It's bullion. But he continues to call it a coin. There is a channel that has come out full on and say, I know I have bars. I don't deal with coins. I don't have it. I'm not authorized to do it. I only do this, but I call it coins because the entire entity I found that I get, my engagement goes through the roof if I taught coin because I get at least 3,000 people coming in and telling me that I'm wrong. So I will purposefully do this, understanding that they're going to correct me because it builds engagement and that gains more people. I know it's not a coin, but some people know I know it's not a coin, but there's those people that have to be correct. And there's those people that have to tell people how it is and what they need to do. And
can I expand a little bit on what AZ was asking about before it goes out of my head?
absolutely.
So I do think that they're going to stop making the star notes because they said they were going to stop making the star notes. However, and this is my opinion, once again, the same thing that made the collectible star notes collectible in the first place is going to be the same thing that makes the collectible star notes collectible when they stop making them. Not all star notes are collectible. Just because they are star notes does not make them special. So if they weren't special before they stopped making them, then just because they're star notes is not going to make them special when they stop making them. Now, if you want to collect them because they are becoming obsolete, then maybe that adds a little bit of value to them. I don't know, but it's the same thing as not if they stopped making the Lincoln cents today, not all Lincoln cents would be worth more money because there's so many of them and not all of them were special to begin with. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So be careful when people start, because you will see people start talking about how you should save them all because they're not making them anymore and blah, 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 blah. That's up to you if that's what you want to do. But I don't think that that's going to necessarily make them more valuable. It may make them more collectible, but it doesn't necessarily make them more valuable, if that makes any sense to anybody but me. Anyway, that's just my opinion. So
yeah, and so one thing about that, now I'm not, Kevin just got my joke. He said beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and I was like, I beholding my wife.
beholden.
I beholden. There are things to be said about the quality and the nicety of a coin or a bill, right?
Well, and with star notes, a lot of it is the serial number, just like
Yep.
with anything else, right? A lot of it is the serial number.
Like the star note that was just found that was 000000001.
And the was that a star note or was that just a Federal Reserve
Star note.
I thought okay.
01 star note.
And the 2013B duplicate star notes, right? Like
amazing finds found in a convenient or vending machine.
Yeah, so that was pretty amazing.
Yeah, somebody's grandmother is going to be mad.
Maybe, yeah.
Like, you just bought $1,000 piece of
And it did look like it had circulated quite a bit, but
yeah, fun stuff.
yeah. So anyway, AZ, if that answers your question, I don't know. Like I said, if you're a currency collector and that's your jam and you like star notes, then by all means, save every one you get, because, and I'm not talking about like $100 bill star notes, because we all know that the higher the denomination gets, the less the added, like, return on investment or whatever it is. Like if you have a $100 star note, maybe you can sell it for like $105. But most people don't hold on to the higher denomination stuff unless they're really, really, really special.
Yeah, like solid eights.
Yeah.
Yeah, or solid ones or something like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Or like the one that Sam from Kingdom Currency showed, where it was the very last one in the set.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So something really special is one of those items that, and that's another one, folks. If you like currency, go check out Kingdom Currency. That dude, I don't like. he just thinks a different way, man. He really does. And he knows stuff and he studies this and he knows these notes very, very well. He could calculate and tabulate things off of his head. So if you're into notes like that, that's the man. That's the guy to go to. Thanks, Scotty Aquati. I appreciate that, bud.
Oh, nice, Scotty.
Merry Christmas to you. All right, folks. Well, you know what? I'm going to wrap it up.
Yep, I'm going to wrap it up too because I got wrapping up to do. So
She's got some wrapping. Oh, did I tell you that Snoop Dogg won the Christmas competition?
No, you didn't.
He's an amazing rapper.
He's an amazing rapper. But
on
that
much
note,
fun.
are you streaming tomorrow?
Planning on it.
Okay, and I will see you tomorrow.
Have all right. If anything changes, I'll let you all know.
Okay, bye.
All right, folks. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for allowing me to raid your day. 41 more subs, folks. Only 41 more subs. And we are hitting that 5K mark. I'm going to go live maybe tonight. We're going to see. I'm not sure, but we're doing a big New Year's celebration. We're going to have a bunch of stuff. May go on at Christmas, depends. Bifrost talked about potentially doing some drawings and stuff. We might do that the day before Christmas. Thank you for the new subscriber. Just made it 40 subs. I appreciate you. But again, we're going to be looking at doing some stuff. She's going to be doing some custom artwork. And she is committed to doing a full-on art piece. And I don't know if you guys have seen this, but she did one for Master Chief that's phenomenal. So we'll look at some stuff like that. She'll make some decisions about what she wants to do. And during that time of the live stream, she will start it. We will check in with her periodically. But she's talking about doing a high-end piece. So again, this is something you're definitely going to want to be to. I'm going to ask this, though, from each and every one of you. If you drink, lose your keys. There are 3 things that happen. Go look at my community post. The first thing that I want to say, Invisible River Ranch gifted 5 memberships. Thanks, Invisible. Azure Blue, Jenny Sweetheart, J Dud, Christopher Ty, and Ernest Edwards just got one. Barbara Wall said to listen to you tonight. Outstanding. Thank you so much. 3D Wordworks, good day. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate you coming in. There are 3 things about this holiday season that I want you all to remember. Number 1 is DUIs are a real thing. Please, if you're going to drink, don't drive. The worst day of the year for mortality in the road is New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. So please do me a favor, folks. If you drink, good God, just lose your keys, get a designated driver, put a couple bucks aside, plan ahead, and let's all arrive safely. That's my biggest one. And the last one is kindness is free. Okay? If you see somebody suffering, you see somebody hurting, a little bit of kindness goes a long, long way. Okay? Tell them a joke, smile, give them a pat on the back. If you hear that they're lonely, check on people, talk with people. Just be a part of the community. Okay? Rideshare is a good one. 3D Woodwork says root beer for me. Hey, that works for me too. All right, folks. Well, hey, I love you guys. Thanks so much for all your support, all the subscribers, 40 more to 5K. You guys are supporting, you're rocking today. I greatly appreciate everything. Oh, my call. I will see you in the stream.